Well, welcome to the Mixed Country 96 Artist Lounge. I'm Greg Holman, and with us today we have Clark Hill. And Clark has been all over the country. He's from the South, but he's got Minnesota plates. I'll let him explain that.
Oh, that's the rental car. So
okay, all right. That makes sense now. Clark has an interesting story. Before I let him play acoustically, we're going to talk about that a little bit. But grew up as a farm boy.
Yeah.
Went to college. Played a little football.
Yeah.
And what position did you play?
I was tight end and linebacker. So, but that was high school. I didn't play sports in college, so I went to college and became an EMT fireman. So.
Right. So various careers.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody always asks, how did you go from that to being a country music singer? And that's a very unusual story.
Yeah.
You want to share that with us?
Yeah. I mean, the short version I think is that at that point it was. It was attributed a lot to me not being able to be mature enough to hammer things down, to be perfectly honest. You're kind of trying to figure out where your life's taking you. You're a young parent, a young husband, and you have a lot of good things going on in your life, but you also have a lot of hard things, and you're just kind of trying to find your way. And I think at that point I attribute it to mainly that. And then when we look at it today, 15 years practically later, I think a lot of it was just God's plan to try to put me in a position to actually affect people and do something special. So my wife and I have been married for 13 years now, and we've been through a separation and been through some pain amongst each other, and then here we are. I start playing music again. I was always kind of in music to some extent, but never thought I'd do it professionally. I always thought I'd be a football player. So then we start doing it, and the next thing you know, people were listening, and then the philosophical side of me came out, whereas like I took that very seriously. People were listening to me. I better do something with it. So I joke a lot, and I make a lot of stupid things, like we were talking about off camera earlier. I'm always making a joke about something, or having fun, or doing something extravagant, or trying to keep my mind stimulated. But at the end of the day, I took pretty seriously, even if it was two people. When they were listening to me, I was like, okay, I better have something good to say. So that's where I started pulling off of those things, like you mentioned, having such a unique background and having everything from good raising in my family, but also tough things. From struggle with alcohol and family to just just upbringing of my parents. Both of them having a hard upbringing themselves, and them trying to mature and raise a child differently than they were raised. And always trying to find the good out of the bad, and understanding again how you could have, like my dad always said, oxymoron.
Kind of like that Garth Brooks song, Unanswered Prayers.
Right. Yeah.
Really, it's what but specifically, how did a mishap, if I read this right, how did a mishap at the dentist's office influence your music career?
So my wife and I, she left me. We separated. We're back together, but we had separated, and I jokingly say you couldn't put it in a movie script. Like it's that crazy. I went to the dentist because I had a wisdom tooth that came in, and like almost immediately, like overnight, it broke the tooth in front of it. So I had to go to the dentist, and I go get my wisdom teeth pulled, and you got to, again, the too good for TV story is like my body rejects anesthesia. I've had 3 surgeries in my life. I woke up in the middle of every one of them.
Oh no.
So anesthesia didn't work, and then it was a student's dental office too for University of Florida. So like literally standing on the chair trying to get this tooth out, and I'm feeling it, and they're like, well, we'll give you more. I'm like, just do it. You're already hurting me. It's okay. Just do it. They broke my jaw. It's the left side. They broke the corner out of my jaw. Like I actually have the piece. It's like the size of maybe like half of a dime. And so I felt all of that, and then my wife had left me, and it was my birthday. So it was a miserable day, and like my wife was the only one that could, like, I love her potato soup. Well, she had left me. She wasn't going to fix me potato soup, so I'm just like sitting at home eating like Frosties from Wendy's, and my brother-in-law comes over, and he, at that point, he and I weren't close. So I mean, there was nothing wrong with our relationship. We just didn't really know each other. And he comes over and he's like, "Hey, man, let's go. You're gonna get out of the house. It's your birthday. You deserve better." And I'd always been the one. I think that even if it's fake, it's normally not, but I've always been the one that's pretty strong. Again, I see a lot of good in bad situations, and at that point in my life, I wasn't. That was a bad day, and he come and got me out of the house and said, "Hey man, let's go do something." And I kind of caught the bug of just playing music, standing on a stage and strumming a guitar. Like that night, literally, they turned my guitar off because I had no clue I was playing. But I just had the time of my life, and it turned into writing music, and now here we are.
Yeah. in the meantime that day you're walking around with a broken jaw and you look like you're chewing tobacco.
Yeah, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. I sang that night. You know, I mean, like I sang one of my favorite songs is "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. And it was like the band that I was hanging out with that night. They were like, "Hey, will you play Simple Man?" So they got like a couple shots in me, and we're like, "You're good to go." So I was like, I mean, my fingers were bleeding from playing guitar. It's the first time in 8 years, and I played for 4 hours that night. So like my fingers were bleeding both hands, and you know, I was spitting blood in a cup out of my mouth. It was definitely weird.
Is Simple Man still on your show today?
Yeah, we do a couple different ways, but yeah, we like to mix it up where I come out and do part of it acoustically, and then bring in the full band. But we definitely put it in there when we can.
I do want to let you play a song acoustically. What have you got in mind for us?
I can do a new one. Just co-wrote a couple weeks ago called "A Drink in My Hand."
Okay, sounds good. Clark Hill.
Been a long time coming for me to walk away. This bottle's been empty for days, and down in the bottom where my heart lays, I search for the words that I'll say. I've been feeling this for too long to let it all go. This ain't worth fighting for. I'm done holding back. This pain has been real. I found when love fails, I have one way to heal. I pour out my heart and fill up my glass. I get on my knees and I pray this will pass. I'll be damned if I let it all end with a drink in my hand. With a drink in my hand. I feel like I've waited for a lifetime of change to find what's been one drink away. So I empty the bottle and I pour down the drain, washing my sorrows away. I've been feeling this for too long to let it all go. This ain't worth fighting for. I'm done holding back. This pain has been real. I found when love fails, I have one way to heal. I pour out my heart and fill up my glass. I get on my knees and I pray this will pass. I'll be damned if I let it all end with a drink in my hand. With a drink in my hand. With a drink in my hand. With a drink in my hand.
Very nice. You say you wrote that song?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Drink in my hand's the name of it?
Yes, sir.
Kind of autobiographical, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, a little bit, man. My dad my dad's still alive. Great man, honestly. It's again the oxymoron, you know. My dad has been very good to me and everyone around him, but he does have a big struggle. So I grew up as a child watching him struggle with alcohol, and then being in an industry that has alcohol in it. And even my wife's father is someone that's battled alcoholism his whole life, and trying to balance the fact of that. You know, I partake in a very minute amount, but it being one of my biggest fears. You know, every time I do have a beer or anything with anybody, the first thing I think of is, you know, what if this is the one? What if this is one that it clicks? And it's scary. You know, again, I don't want to live my life in fear and then not be able to enjoy something. But it is something every time I pick one up, it's like, what, is this the one that's going to click, and I'm gonna go down that road. So I always try to make sure I'm upfront and honest about it with myself and everyone around me.
That's great. And I don't know, I'm kind of seeing a trend. Of course, I'm a lot older than you are, but and I haven't been to CRS in a few years.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of liquor flowing there.
Oh yeah.
It's really tempting. But I'm seeing, like at high school reunions and things like that, I'm seeing more people drink water.
Yeah.
And Diet Coke and things like that now.
It's like, it's part of it's the health trend, and then the other thing is, like, we're in an age where it's not just the country stars that we're seeing that struggle with alcohol like we saw, say 20, 30, or even 40 years ago. I guess even some more than that. But I mean, now people are seeing it in their daily life. I mean, it's funny, again, I'm not someone that won't partake at all, but at the end of the day, I mean, alcohol is probably one of the greatest, devils that we have in our country right now. It kills people on the roads, it ruins marriages and families, and it hurts people on a daily basis. So again, how do you live life and have fun, but not take it too far?
Sure. Well, it's a good topic for a song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sure. Well, every country song's got something to do with drinking, I guess.
Absolutely.
I tried to take mine a little bit more serious without it being, I didn't want it to be too somber, and it's again, I wanted to portray something that I felt like people could relate to.
You want to do one more for us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Clark Hill.
You want the single, or you want something different?
Let's do the single.
All right, we can do the single.
Good?
All right,
okay.
let's do it.
All right.
Put on your suit every morning, put your long hair back in a bun. It's almost a crime how you hide it. What I see when it all comes undone, no words can describe it. But for you, I'll give it a try. It's a love stronger than time, big and wide open, like a Montana sky. It's the highest of heights, greater than life. How can I make you see that you're perfect to me? I love how you look in the mirror. See, that skirt don't fit you no more. While you're stealing the air that I'm breathing, every day you're more beautiful than the day before. I know I'm not good enough for you, baby, but I know what you'll get while you're mine. It's a love stronger than time, big and wide open, like a Montana sky. It's the highest of heights, greater than life. How can I make you see that you're perfect to me? It's a love stronger than time, big and wide open, like a Montana sky. It's the highest of heights, greater than life. How can I make you see that you're perfect to me? Perfect to me.
job. That sounds like a hit to me.
I hope so, man. That'd be good.
Perfect to me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect to me. I like that when you're down in the lower register too, you get that Josh Turner coming out.
Yeah. It was it was written by it was co-written Chris Young and my producer.
Okay.
So Chris definitely has that good, you know, which makes it
voice.
Yeah, it makes it kind of hard for me to, you know, Chris has such a great range and is such a gifted vocalist.
Right.
You know, just you're honored to do the song, but you also every time you hear it, you're like, man, gosh, he could have done it so much better. But you know, again, thankfully he let me cut it, and we'll see. Hopefully, it'll keep climbing up the charts.
Is that a difficult song to sing this early in the day?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a vulnerable song to put out acoustically because I'm a pretty passionate singer. I don't see myself as some gifted vocalist anyway. So most of my show comes from the passion. It gives you an opportunity to feel what I'm feeling. If I write the song or pick the song, you can bet your behind I believe in what I'm singing. You strip that down into an acoustic version. It's difficult, you know. It'll scare you, but at the same time, you know, what better way to connect with the audience than for them to hear the real artist instead of, you know, some Pro Tools laden or, you know, whatever, you know, auto-tuned voice.
Exactly.
I want people to hear the real me, and so I'm willing to get out here with this vulnerability and let them hear it.
And that's one of the things that makes country music special is the lyrics.
Oh yeah.
And
Well, it's got to have a story, man. It's got to be something you can relate to, or it's not going to do anything. It may sell millions of albums and make a ton of money, but at the end of the day, you know, obviously I hope to be able to support my family quite handsomely. You know, they've done so much for me to be out here and live this dream, and to be able to give back to my community both financially and of my time. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like, you do this to make a difference. That's why you get into an industry like this, and you can't make a difference if the story's not real.
Right. Oh, there's a lot of different ways you could have gone with your career, and I'm glad you chose music.
All right, man. Thank you. Thanks for letting me come by and share it with you.
Okay. It's Clark Hill in the Mixed Country 96 Artist Lounge.